So my name is Rebecca Kozak. I am your host today with the amazing Dr. Joel Wallach. My co-hosts are Jonty McCollier, Ruth Ellen Sanchez, and Nasima Omar. And we are here to be a resource to you. Now, I do want to remind you that all of the information that is shared here and the content of this program is to provide nutritional education information only. This program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, and the FDA requires us to let you know that our products are not meant to treat, prevent, diagnose, or cure any diseases. Any testimonials that are shared on this program are real life results using the products and the protocols that our good doctor, Dr. Joel Wallach, has provided and has been very instrumental in the formulation of. And I just want everybody to know that as individuals, we are empowered. We have options. We do not have to follow the mainstream, and we can use our own intellect to make choices. So we are totally honored to have one of the founding fathers of epigenetics here to guide us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Welcome, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rebecca, and the whole team. I really appreciate it. And the world is in need right now. The world is in need right now. Right now, I think everybody knows, if they've listened to the radio this morning or last night or watched TV, read a newspaper, that all the governors are shutting the states down, the school systems are shutting down, all the small businesses are closing, and it's kind of crazy. This Dr. Fauci has failed us terribly. He's been in charge of this thing for a year and a half, okay, and it's only gotten worse. See, because putting the mask on is a good thing. If it's kind of the equivalent of being 50 miles away from somebody, you won't infect them, they won't infect you. But you haven't gotten rid of the bug. You haven't reduced your susceptibility to the bug. And so when the curve flattens out and people aren't, you don't see spiking anymore, everybody gets excited and they run to the bars on Friday and Saturday night and they hug and kiss each other. They send their kids to school and they all die. Okay? Because they weren't really done with it just because the curve flattened out. The vaccination's coming. The vaccination's coming in the spring of next year. Okay. Well, is that going to solve the problem? The answer is no. Okay, the answer is no, because you're still going to be susceptible to the bug. Okay, you can still carry it. Might not kill you, but you carry it and kill somebody else. Now, the reason is this. We have a terrible situation in which has been going on for thousands of years. In the old days, in the Bible days, they used to call it the plague would come every year. They just changed the name to pandemic. The pandemic were the yearly plagues, the annual plagues in the Bible. It's not anything new. They haven't learned anything, okay? And so what's the deal? Why is this going on? Well, there are people who live to be on the average 165. There are communities who live to be an average of 175. Their oldest ones on the average live to be 260, 270, 300. Okay, I have 10 of these societies in this book that are still functional today, okay, immortality. We looked at the top 10 longevity cultures on Earth and what it is they avoid, what it is they do. And so that book came out in 2005 when the MERS and the SARS and the H1N1 came out, which was a pandemic for a couple of years. And before that, it was the Spanish flu, which came out. It killed 20 million people from India in 6 months' time. 110 million people in India were infected in 6 months. Well, today, let's look at India today with this pandemic. Okay, today, let's look at India. Here we go. They have the same population as China, okay, 1.4 billion people, very large community. And today, now you have to remember that we have 8 million, almost 9 million infections in India. And 1918, during the Spanish flu, we had 110 million infections, okay? Right now we have 131,000 dead. Back then we had 20 million dead in India. So I spent 3 weeks with the World Health Organization 2 months ago. And I asked them, tell me about India. I want to know. And I learned that they have 29 states and 7 territories. So I can be monitored here. So I know what I'm talking about. And I asked the World Health Organization, all their medical experts, do all the 29 states and 7 territories have kind of an equivalent amount of the COVID-19 infections and deaths? They said, oh, absolutely not. Oh, okay, which ones have it the worst? Well, it's kind of interesting. The top 9, the top northern states in India have 95% of the deaths and 86% of the infections. The southern 2/3, which has 20 states and 7 territories, have 5% of the deaths and only 14% of the infections. I said, well, are they different people? No, they're all from India. They're all Indians. Okay, there's no Chinese people in there. There's no European people in there. They're just all the same people, the same religion. Okay. And so I said, do they all eat the same thing? And they said, just a minute. No, the ones in northern India, where all the deaths are, 95% of the deaths and 86% of the infections, live on nothing but wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And the ones in the southern 2/3 of India that have 5% of the deaths and only 14% of the infections, oh, they eat nothing but rice and sweet potatoes, which I've been yelling about for a year. Okay, they are gluten-free in southern India. They're heavy gluten eaters in northern India. And so that's why the huge difference in the mortality rate and the infection rate. Let's look at one other example here. So you get, this is a universal thing. This is not just in India. Let's compare Texas and Taiwan, 2 countries that have almost the identical population, okay, which is like 25 million people. Texas has 26 million. Taiwan has 25 million people. Texas has 1 million infections and 20,000 deaths. Taiwan has 609 infections and 7 deaths. What's the difference between 7 deaths and 20,000 deaths?
There's just a slight difference there, Dr. Wallach.
Yeah.
Slight.
Okay. Well, what's happening here is Texas is 70% Latinos. They're almost all Mexicans that have moved into Texas, and they live on nothing but wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Gluten alert, gluten alert. And Taiwan is a classic Asian nation that eats nothing but rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables. No gluten. Their villi are still intact, and they can absorb all the nutrients, which then go to their bone marrow, which makes white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, and antibodies to go and kill the virus and eat the virus. Whereas when you have gluten in your diet, those villi go away. You lose 95 to 98% of your intestinal lining. You can't absorb nutrients, even if you're supplementing, and nothing gets to your bone marrow. And these people in Texas have what's called medullary dysplasia, which means that the bone marrow cavity, okay, the bone marrow cavity, which is your immune system, which makes your white blood cells, your stem cells that make antibodies, and red blood cells and platelets, is filled with scar tissue and fat. Ain't working. I'll give you one terrible classic example. This guy's name was Herman Cain, C-A-I-N. Herman Cain was the CEO of Godfather's Pizza, a billionaire, literally a billionaire. Now, he had 8 pre-existing conditions for, I don't know, 30-something years. He was 74 years old. And, you know, he had obesity and colitis and irritable bowel syndrome and celiac disease. And he had obesity and diabetes and arthritis and all that kind of stuff. And, but he was having the best doctors in the world, and they were treating all of his symptoms. They never got rid of those diseases, which is easy to get rid of. They were just treating his symptoms for like 25 to 30 years, pre-existing conditions, all nutritional deficiency diseases. Okay. So he gets diagnosed with COVID-19. He gets diagnosed with COVID-19 the last day of June of this year. They put him in a private hospital, give him intravenous, like 5 times a day, intravenous drugs that kill viruses. They give him oxygen. In 20 days, he dies in the last weeks of July, only lived 3 weeks after diagnosis. When they did the autopsy on him, they didn't find that he had a respiratory infection in his chest, which is what they thought he had. No, he hemorrhaged to death. And why did he hemorrhage to death? because his bone marrow was dead. He couldn't make platelets to protect himself from hemorrhaging, which is what killed all those people in India in 1918 during the Spanish flu. They all hemorrhaged to death. 20 million hemorrhaged to death in 6 months. Had nothing to do with the virus directly. Okay, so I urge everybody to get the book Hell's Kitchen, learn about all these pre-existing conditions: obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, kidney failure, all that stuff. Let's get rid of that, which we can do. And guess what? You'll survive the COVID. Why is it that a 3-year-old baby gets COVID? Their temperature goes up by 0.5 degree. That's not even a fever. They're sick for 3 days with mild common cold-like symptoms, and then it's over with, and they all live. You get a 63-year-old, a 73-year-old, an 83-year-old. They have all these pre-existing conditions because they've been eating gluten for 60, 70, 80 years. Their intestines are dead, and they're dead. Okay? And so that's
Dr.
why
Wallach, I have a question. My question is, okay, we get somebody that's tested positive for COVID. What do we get them on right away?
Okay, well, right away,
Never.
well, obviously, if they have COVID, they need to wear a mask to protect everybody else. When you wear a mask, you're protecting them. You're not protecting yourself from your vapors coming out of your mouth. If you got COVID, you want to wear a mask because you're going to infect everybody else if you don't wear a mask. And then you have to use our hand sanitizer in your feet, your hands, your neck, your ears, okay, around your face. And we have it in little 4-ounce bottles you can carry in your purse and briefcase. We have it in the family size. Okay, the hand sanitizer. We have our colloidal silver. I gargle with this every morning, every 10 o'clock, every 3 o'clock, every 6 o'clock, and before bedtime. And if I go out of the house, I rub it all over myself. I put it on my feet before I put my clean socks on. So if a bug gets in through my shoes, the colloidal silver will kill it. But I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients, Rebecca, for 72 years now, going on 73 years. Okay, I take the heavy hammer because of all that's going on. I don't want to be hunting elephants with a 22. I want an elephant gun here. So I'm using our Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. I only weigh 142 pounds. I'm going on 82 years old, but I take 2 doses a day of everything, a full dose of breakfast and dinner. I also take our killer biotic. I take 3 of those twice a day, which raises my immune system. I also use our Z radical, okay, which has the fucoidan in it, okay, which comes from a brown seaweed and sea algae and stuff like that. This fucoidan. When I'm on the road, I will also take our fucoid Z, which is the same thing in our capsules. Okay, so I'm getting that. I also take our Cell Shield RTQ. I take that 3 times a day. I take our pollen burst with our SOD in it. I mean, I protect myself. I have not eaten gluten in 72 years. I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients for almost 73 years now. Okay. Now, most people think I'm in my 50s.
Dr. Wallach,
yeah.
For the pollen burst, are you taking the tablets, or we have 3 different flavors of the drink? Which one do you prefer? What's your favorite flavor?
Well, I go with the blueberry stuff.
All right. So,
okay.
So the
I like
berry, my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Very good, because I like the SOD. Okay, superoxide dismutase. That's the big hammer to kill the virus, right? And so I'm working 24/7 to kill the virus and to build up my immune system. My whole thing, when I'm not talking to you, is building up my immune system and killing the virus. That's how I spend my whole day doing that. Okay. Now, if you're going to survive this thing, if the people you love are going to survive this thing, this has got to be a priority. Your priority can't be listening to country western music, which I love. Okay. You can do both at the same time. Okay. And so this has got to be a priority. And then another one we have to talk about briefly. You know, the Black community is saying, look, why is it that the Black community has a higher rate of COVID-19 infections and COVID-19 deaths than the white community? Well, it goes back to the basic tenet that only dead doctors don't lie, okay? Because the Black community is still living on the old South, Southern cooking. They eat nothing but fried fish and fried chicken and French fries. They have pancakes and waffles for breakfast. Okay, they have spaghetti every other day at the spaghetti factory. They have flour tortillas, and they drink beer made from wheat. They drink rye whiskey made from rye, all of which is gluten. And it's not a thing in the Black community to supplement. a supplement thing in the Black community. Okay, the Black community, and I work with him. I work with Andy Young, great mayor of Atlanta. He was with Martin Luther King, you know, in the great movement, okay, to deal with all this terrible stuff going on with the racial stuff. And he was going to have a double knee replacement. One of his people said, Wallach, you need to talk to Andy Young here. I did. I rebuilt him. And he started introducing me to people like Evander Holyfield, the guy, heavyweight champion, a black guy. He lost his championship, okay, to Michael Moore. I rebuilt him. He came back and beat the hell out of Mike Tyson, you know, supposedly the most vicious guy in the boxing ring. He got his, because I rebuilt Evander Holyfield. Let's see here, Theo Ratliff. He was a basketball player with the Atlanta Hawks. He had knee problems, hip problems. He got fractured his wrist. They took away his contract. I rebuilt him. In 90 days, he got a $35 million contract. Now, you have to appreciate, Rebecca, it was $35 million a year for 10 years, not $35 million for 10 years. It was $35 million a year. And he only had to spend like $6 a day.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so I do this with seniors and politicians. I deal with people in every country. Well, I shouldn't say every country, 50 major countries in the world. Okay. And it's one of those things where if everybody were to get off of gluten and live like the Asians, live on rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables and take the 90, we wouldn't have any more of these pandemics, because everybody would react to the pandemic virus like the 3-year-olds do. That's nothing.
So, Dr. Wallach, I heard you mention a statistic yesterday in a recent program with a country that I know. I have some people that are near and dear to my heart in this country. And I was so excited to hear how much better they're doing when it comes to COVID than we are.
Which country was that? Because I talked about 50 countries yesterday.
You did. Yes, you did. But Nigeria compared to
Brazil.
Yes.
You're going south on me.
Incredible difference.
Yeah. Now, are you talking about Nigeria or are you talking about Brazil?
Well, Nigeria is where I have at least a dozen people that are on this call today.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, I spent 2 years in Africa on the White Rhino Conservation Project. Actually, it was my first book I ever wrote. It was called Rhino Express. I caught 200 of the 470 remaining white rhinos south of the Zambezi River, sent them back here. Now there's 25,000 because of my conservation efforts. Okay. And that was 1957. Okay. And so, no, I apologize. Yeah, it was 19. Yeah, it was way down there. Anyway, and so that was written into that book called Rhino Express. And so I love Africa. I didn't speak English for 2 years. All I spoke was Zulu, Matabele, and Afrikaans, okay, which is Old Dutch, and of course the Zulu and the Matabele languages. Okay, let's quickly look at Nigeria, which has a population of about 208 million people, and Brazil, which has a population of 210 million people. So their populations are very close, and so that's why I talked about them together. And the Nigerians have an infection of 66,000. They're the largest landmass in Africa. They have a infection rate of COVID-19 of 66,000 and a death rate of 1,000. Brazil, okay, with 210 million people, just a couple of million over Nigeria, the biggest, largest landmass in South America. They have a 6 million population. 6 million, is that bigger than 65,000? Yeah.
About 10 times.
Oh, more than that. 10 times would only be 650,000.
Oh,
that's 6 million. 100 times. Yeah. Okay, there are 100 times. 100 times more infections, 6 million infections, and 167,000 deaths. That's 167 times greater death rate than the Nigerians. Is it a bad gene? Huh? It's because one's Brazilian and the other one's black? No. It has to do with the fact that the Brazilians live on nothing but flour tortillas, spaghetti, beer, which is made from wheat, okay? Whereas the Nigerians, they live on rice, corn, and sweet potatoes. So their villi are still there in Nigeria, and in Brazil, their villi are gone. They cannot absorb nutrients, so their bone marrow is dead. They can't make any white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, and antibodies, whereas the Nigerians are making plenty of those things. The Nigerians' blood is full of defense, and the Brazilians' blood is full of gluten.
Yeah.
Got it?
Often.
So that's the difference. That's the difference there. And I can show you country after country after country. You know, one of my favorite comparisons is Japan and Mexico. The identical population. I mean, we're talking 127 million people in Mexico and Japan. Japan has 123,000 infections and 2,000 deaths. Mexico has 1 million infections and 100,000 deaths. There's 100,000 deaths more, is 50 times more than 2,000 deaths. Well, what's the difference between Mexico and Japan? Well, Japan lives on nothing but rice and sweet potatoes and vegetables, and Mexico lives on nothing but wheat, barley, rye, oats, flour, tortillas, and all that kind of stuff. And beer, cerveza, pan, bread, all made from wheat. Okay? So this is not difficult. I mean, I could keep going here. Texas and let's go with Texas, and you want to go with Thailand, or you want to, let's go with Taiwan. Let's go with Texas and Taiwan. Texas is 28 million. Taiwan is 27 million. Taiwan has 609 infections and 7 deaths. Texas has 1 million infections and 20,000 deaths. No matter how you compare it, anytime you take somebody with a Western diet versus the Asian diet, the Asians are always going to win when it comes to the COVID.
Yeah. So this kind of brings a point around that this information needs to be spread everywhere, not just in our own backyards. And I love the fact that because of what you have done, Dr. Wallach, we are able to share this information around the world. And for me, I mean, I'm doing it because of all of the life changes that it had on me.
And we thank you so much for sharing.
But the fact that I can share my story, share your story and these products, and support my family is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And I thank you for that. And if anybody has ever thought of a home business and being able to, do something to bring an additional income stream, it's definitely something to take a look at.
And tax breaks.
The tax breaks are incredible. Absolutely. I mean, I'm able to, because I have to invest in my own health, I can write off all of the products that I take myself.
Yes, part of the business plan to provide for your health care. It can pay for your health insurance. You get to deduct a portion of your home mortgage. You get to deduct a portion of your utilities. You deduct your portion of your phone bill, your car insurance, and all that kind of stuff. You can get thousands of dollars worth of tax benefits every month when you run this business out of your home. You pay wholesale prices for the product. You get on auto ship. I pay the shipping. I don't know how to make it any better than that. And I'm paying you to take it.
That's right. That's right. So it's very cool. So, I mean, as you're listening to today's show or listening to the replay, and you have any type of interest in having your own home business, it is definitely something to consider. You can reach out as a reply to the invitation that you received to this call. You can get with the person that invited you to this call. And that's something I really want to encourage. If you are here because somebody invited you to this call, they have a vested interest in you and your health. Get with them and ask them questions.
Well, let me throw one little piece in here, if I may, on the business part.
Go ahead.
Well, people always ask me, professionals, like doctors and veterinarians and professors, and they say, well, Wallach, you're such a scientist. Why did you get involved with network marketing? And I said, well, I needed an army. I had to build an army of people who were passionate about what I was passionate about. I needed to be, and right now I see 2 million patients a day in the 50 countries we're in. With all these countries together, I see 2 million patients a day. When I was in practice by myself, I saw 15 patients a day, which is bigger 2 million or 15. And so if I was going to take this knowledge to the world, I had to build an army. And so that's why, and I learned how to do this when they came out with the card for getting a discount on your calls. Okay, the phone cards. Okay, and I was, in a truck stop going someplace to give a little talk, and these truckers were complaining about their cost of phone bills and everything. So I said, well, we should get you one of those phone cards. And they sent me a check. And so within 90 days, I was making $300,000 a month in checks from the phone card business because I was spending all my days in truck stops signing up truckers so they could save on their phone bill.
Networking.
Would you look at that? And so that's where I learned, if I'm going to do the same thing for health, I have to build an army like those truckers. Those truckers are going everywhere. They're signing up truckers in cities I've never been to before. And I was still getting paid on that. And so I learned something that, oh my gosh, if I could do this with my practice, I need to do the same system in my practice. Okay. And that was 1982.
That's fantastic. I love network marketing. I'm proud to be a network marketer and be able to share information that actually benefits others, information and products. So Dr. Wallach, we have a few people with their hands up. And if you are with us today and you would like to ask a question with Zoom, if you click on participants at the bottom of your screen, you will see a little option that says raise hand. And that is how you raise hand. All right. Well, a lot of people don't understand that, Dr. Wallach. I've been on large calls where I say, go ahead and raise your hand, and they're doing this. They are raising their hand, exactly what they're told to do. But first, let's go to a chat question that came in first before I saw any hands. And B is 5 foot 2 inches, 60 years old. And some years back had a fatty tissue on her back that it was noticeable, and she had it surgically removed. Later on, another one has shown up on her back, and she's wanting to know what can be done to remove this fatty tissue without surgery, which really coincides with one of the questions I had, because my pup ended up with one of these little lumps. It doesn't seem to be attached to anything. It's nice and soft. But what might be the cause of that? And I want people to know that we're not diagnosing, but we're looking at symptoms and addressing it through nutritional aspects.
Did she happen to tell you how much she weighed? She said she was 5 foot 2.
Yeah, let's go with 120 pounds, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, well, let's go with 120 pounds. Well, the first thing she needs to do is get rid of all the bad stuff, because when you have these sort of fatty things that aren't really attached to anything, and they're in the same place all the time, I want to know what kind of chair she sits in, how long she drives to go to work. I want to know if she is if she's sleeping with her husband and he gives her a big vigorous back rub, in the morning when she wakes up, or that kind of stuff. I want to know what's going on, why it is in her back. Why doesn't she have one of those fatty things on the back of her calf or on her neck or on top of her head or something? Why is it the same place all the time? So first thing, she needs to do that investigation and kind of change her sleeping patterns, or change her chair, or, put a cushion on the back of her car seat if she drives long distances. And then let's say 120 pounds, got to get rid of all the bad stuff so she can absorb the nutrients. Absolutely no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown, rye notes, no sugar. And then I'd have her take one healthy brain and heart pack per month. I'd have her get another bottle of our selenium, not selenium from Walgreens, because our selenium has 5 other things added to it, to make sure you get the maximum benefit of the selenium, but also those cofactors have their own benefit. When you have a selenium deficiency, almost always you have a deficiency of those cofactors, and so you don't get maximum benefit from the selenium. So I want to get another bottle of selenium so she can take 3 of those twice a day. That's going to help support protection of the cell walls of her fat and her muscles and all the other tissues in her body. And then I also wanted to have our MSM, which is because you have to appreciate our fatty tissue is a connective tissue. It's kind of related to tendons and ligaments and that kind of stuff. And so I want her to also take our MSM. I want her to get 2 bottles a month of MSM, so she could take 3 of those with each meal to keep our connective tissue healthy. And then let's see here. I would also have her take our vitamin D3, take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And take, when we were just talking about it, I would have her take our pollen burst, okay? Or if she prefers, I like the blueberry pollen burst, but if she prefers, she could take our Fucoid Z, okay? Our Z radical liquid or Fucoid Z capsules. It has the fucoidin in it, which is a great, great anti-inflammatory and antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, protects tissues from oxidative damage. And so let's go there. If it's itchy or painful, of course, we have the CM cream and the trauma oil. We also have our Soothe from our Hemp FX division. There's no THC in it, so it's legal in all states and so forth. But I like to use the CM cream topically on those areas, and it will help shrink stuff like that, but also relieves itching and noticing that there's a thing there, okay? And also same way with the Soothe. I would use the Soothe a half hour before bedtime with the trauma oil. And every couple of hours during the day, use the CM cream and the trauma oil mixed together, a couple of drops. But you do have to watch it. That CM cream will settle during the night, and the cream goes to the bottom of the jar, and the water comes to the top. People say, well, I've used it, it didn't work. Well, you got to stir it up every morning with a straw or a toothpick or something, so you make it homogeneous, so the cream's not all at the bottom and the water's not all at the top, because it does settle. It's just like in the old days, and your mom and dad know this, in the old days, when they would deliver a bottle of milk to you, or you had your own cow, every morning, what did you have to do when you took the milk out of the ice box? You had to shake it, because the cream rose to the top and the milk went to the bottom, until they started learning how to homogenize the milk. Homogenize milk means that they made the milk fat so small droplets that it stayed in a uniform mix, so you didn't have to shake it up every morning. Okay, so I kind of learned that when I was a kid.
Yeah. See, I didn't understand.
Now you
that.
know what homogenized milk
Now
is.
I know, and I used to milk cows. So
Well.
thank you, Dr. Wallach. But I take that CM cream, and it comes with a little plastic insert that I keep on it, so that all I have to do is shake it. Shake it, and then I take a couple dabs off the lid when I open it up, and that's all it takes. It goes a long way. So one thing, Dr. Wallach, that I really like about your supplementation is not only are you nutrifying the body, but you're detoxifying the body.
That is correct. Your liver does that. Yeah, your liver does that. Your sweat glands do that. And your liver does over 40 things, and detoxification is one of the biggest responsibilities of the liver. So you want to keep your liver happy. And we could have called the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack the healthy brain, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, the spleen, the brain pack, but we said, okay, don't know. It's crazy. So we just made it Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. But it's the best thing for the liver is a Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Detoxify.
And since we're talking about, toxins, we need to really consider the things that we're using in our home that are exposing us to toxins unnecessarily. And I know, Dr. Wallach, you've got the laundry detergent, the Hydro Wash that is toxin free. We've got the Nature Direct line of cleaning products that are just incredible. I mean, if anybody has pets, this carpet cleaner is a must have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we have over 5,000 products, Rebecca. And I think probably, 20% of them are household products.
Yeah. And I love the fact that we can have a toxin-free lifestyle with longevity. I've swapped where I shopped.
Yeah, toxin-free.
I used to even make my stuff to get rid of toxins, and now I don't have to.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, Dr. Wallach, let's go to our first hand that we have up.
Okay.
And again, if you are joining us and you hear anything that you're interested in adding to your daily regime, whether it's for lifestyle, for health, doesn't matter. You can go to AskDocLive.com, and there is a store there. So first, let's go to Robert Swanson. Robert, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach. Oh, we lost him. All right. Well, let's go to Barney
No,
then.
he's there, Rebecca.
Oh,
He's there. He just is muted.
Well, unmute him.
I asked him to unmute.
There you go.
Okay, I had to click it 3 times. I'm sorry about that. Hi, Dr. Wallach. I read your book, It's All in Your Head. I'm interested in more information about osteoporosis and how long it's going to take that to get out of my head.
Okay. Well, osteoporosis of the skull, you can be born with it. It's not something that only happens in, postmenopausal women that have 7 kids or 70 years old. Medical doctors believe that osteoporosis only occurs in the legs of postmenopausal women who have had 8 kids or over 70 years of age. You can be born with osteoporosis and osteoporosis of the skull and the vertebrae and all your bones in your body, because if the mom doesn't have all the nutrients, she can't put them in the baby, right? And so osteoporosis is a simple nutritional deficiency disease. Osteoporosis of the skull causes 25 different diseases, and you might have to go to 14 different specialists when you have osteoporosis of the skull, starting when you're a teenager, because when you're a teenager, you have to go to one of these dentists, right, orthodontists, that put braces on your mouth because your teeth are roaming around and not correct. And it's one of those things where they have terrible headaches and all this kind of stuff, and it's all osteoporosis of the skull. Okay. Also, do you have any ringing in the ears? Do you have any tinnitus, ringing in the ears?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any dizziness or balance problems?
No.
Okay. Do you have any loss of the sense of smell or taste?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any gradual vision loss, but you don't have glaucoma and you don't have cataracts and you don't have macular degeneration? You just have vision loss.
Vision loss and macular degeneration.
Okay. I won a lot of bets from eye doctors and eye surgeons who said that those are the only 3 things that will cause blindness: is macular degeneration, cataracts, and glaucoma. And I said, no, there's osteoporosis of the skull, squeezes the optic nerve, which is cranial nerve number 2, and causes ONA, optic nerve atrophy. And it's a gradual vision loss, okay, because that nerve is being squeezed. And so also, have you shrunk any in height since you were 20 years old?
I have not.
Okay. I apologize. How much do you weigh?
165.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'9".
Okay. Do you have any other issues? Diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis?
I need to let you know I'm off my vegan diet because of you.
Okay, good.
And hypothyroid, trouble breathing because of my sinuses.
Now, do you have a dry cough? Would it be called COPD?
No.
Okay. Do you have any skin problems, any eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis?
No, skin itching.
Well, that's a skin issue. Okay. Do you have any bowel problems? Constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease, ulcerative colitis?
Recently, dry bowels, yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. You have all the symptoms of a gluten problem. Okay. So the first thing you have to do, and of course, I see some gray hair there, right? Okay. And so one of the things you have to do, because gray hair, one last question. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins in your legs?
No.
Okay. Gray hair is a symptom of a deficiency of a single mineral. It has nothing to do with age, okay, or genetics. It's a deficiency, and you can get when you're 12 years old or 20 years old or 40 years old or 70 years old. You may never get gray hair at 120 if you're getting plenty of that mineral, okay? It does not occur equally all over the world. It's kind of lives in veins like gold and silver. But it also causes problems with ligaments and tendons and connective tissue, including bone matrix, which is required to make healthy bone, including the skull. And when you have osteoporosis of the skull, your skull will go from 1/4 of an inch thick to 1 inch thick. And all the tunnels that the 12 pairs of cranial nerves go through and your spinal cord goes through get filled up with this connective tissue. Now, do you have anything going on in your hands and your wrists and your fingers and your arms? I'm seeing somebody drink coffee there with their left hand. Okay.
No.
Okay, so here we go. 165 pounds, all these issues, no wheat, brother, rye oats. Everybody in your family I'm seeing this individual again, who's the coffee drinker. I'm not seeing my guy that I'm talking to. And so you need to fix that, Rebecca.
I muted him, so any noise he's making is not going to bring him
No,
back on the screen.
well, but I'm talking to one guy and I'm seeing another guy. I don't like that.
Understood.
He might
Okay.
come
Okay.
back.
Okay, and so you have to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown, rye, oats. And this is everybody in the household: the dog, the cat, the bird, the fish, spouse, renter, roommate, person who comes there once a week to clean the house, the guy who cuts the lawn. I mean, if they won't give it up, kick them out of the house or you move out, because it's going to kill you if you don't get rid of that bad stuff, okay? Then at 165 pounds, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, the full dose, everything twice a day. Because you have a lot of connective tissue issues, and you have thyroid issues, I want you to take 2 bottles a month of our Ocean's Gold, so you can take 3 of those twice a day. I want you to take 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so you can take 3 with each meal. That's 9 a day of the MSM to rebuild connective tissue, including the bone matrix in the skull. You need 3 of the vitamin D3 3 times a day until this is all resolved. Then you can drop down to 3 twice a day, but right now you need 3 times a day. It's 3 bottles a month. You also need the glucogel, which you get 2 bottles of capsules. If you prefer the capsules, you can take 5 3 times a day. That'll help, again, rebuild all the connective tissue. If you prefer the liquid, you can get 2 quarts or 3 quarts a month and take an ounce 3 times a day of the liquid glucogel. Okay, that's one. We also have one called Collagen Peptides, which is made from fish and poultry and sheep and beef. I take both the glucogel and the collagen peptides. And so I take about 90 tablets, pills, and tablets twice a day, plus my liquids. I've been doing it for 72 years. Okay. And so these things will all go away. You'll see a major improvement in your vision very quickly. And like I say, I've won a lot of bets with eye doctors. One eye doctor, he had 27 patients. I'm going to give you the short version of the story. He had 27 patients that he had diagnosed with macular degeneration, blindness. They were legally blind for 6, 8, 10 years, 27 of them. And I said, reverse that. And he jumps up in the meeting, calls me a liar, a GD liar. And I said, well, let's have a little wager here. Who are you? He says, well, I'm an eye doctor. I said, okay, you bring me 12 of your patients that are legally blind that you've diagnosed. There's no question about the diagnosis of macular degeneration. And if I can reverse half of them in 90 days so they can read 20/20 without glasses, will you apologize in public, give me a bottle of wine from France, expensive wine, and also take me out to Ruth Chris's Steakhouse? He says, if you can just get one. I said, okay, bring me your charts tomorrow. So the next day he brings me 27 charts. He says, pick your 12. I said, well, why pick 12? Let's take all 27. He says, okay. So to make a long story short, in 90 days, all 27 who were diagnosed earlier to be legally blind, 6, 8, 10 years, in 90 days, they could all read 20/20 without glasses. He paid off. He had to pay for all their supplements. He had to pay me the, Ruth Chris's Steakhouse steak, my expensive bottle of wine from France. But the most important thing he had to do is publicly apologize to me for calling me a GD liar.
And that's where seeing is believing recording came from, correct?
That's correct.
Dr. Wallach, will my sensitivity to eggs go away?
Well, you know what? If you're sensitive to wheat, do you eat rice? Yes. If you're sensitive to chicken eggs, eat duck eggs. If you're sensitive to chicken and duck eggs, eat quail eggs. If you're sensitive to chicken and duck and quail eggs, eat guinea eggs. If you're sensitive to those, eat ostrich eggs. Okay, they're all available. They're different proteins.
Weight gain eating ghee, is that okay, or what should I expect?
Weight gain is due to mineral deficiencies because you develop a behavior called pica. You can look it up in any dictionary, PICA. Weight gain is always a negative weight gain, and you're headed towards obesity, which you don't look obese to me unless you have a big belly. I can't see. I can just see you from your armpits up. Okay. And so, and that's why I like to see who I'm talking to, because I'm looking at the color of their hair. I'm looking at their nature, if they have if they have wrinkles or they don't, and all this kind of stuff. And so I can't be talking to one person and, looking at a different person. It's too confusing. I have to ask too many questions where I can see things with my eyes when I'm looking at the person I'm talking to. But at any rate, obesity, gaining weight, which is pathological weight gain, is always due to a mineral deficiency. take your 90 essential nutrients, get off of gluten so you can absorb them. The weight goes away. Back to you, Rebecca.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Now we have Randy, who has shared in 5'9", 57 inches tall. And the conditions are syringoma, tinnitus, bulging veins in the legs, and wants to know what they can do.
Okay, so I got tinnitus, I got varicose veins, but I forgot, I didn't hear the first one because I heard.
It's Syringoma. Not sure if that's spelled correct.
SYR.
Ingoma.
Okay. Okay, I think that has to do with the inner ear swallowing stuff and, okay. Okay, so at any rate, this person weighs 100 and what?
190 at 5'9".
Okay, all right. I didn't get a full picture there, but we'll go with what we got. They've got to get rid of all the bad stuff. They got osteoporosis of the skull. If they have tinnitus, okay, varicose veins. I'm assuming they have gray hair. I don't know how old they are. Did they say how old Randy is?
57 years old.
Okay, 57 years old. I'm assuming that he or she has some gray hair, white hair. And so, and also this can also produce vitiligo, the same deficiency to produce the white hair. You know, it's like Michael Jackson. Why did he wear wigs? Why did he wear all that garish makeup? Why did he wear gloves with all the jewelry on it? Because he lost all his skin color and his hair color when he was a teenager, because he was missing that nutrient because he had terrible gluten problems. His skin was snow white. He's a black guy with snow white skin and snow white hair as a teenager. So to keep his buddies from beating him up, he wore makeup and gloves with jewelry on it, long sleeve shirts and turtlenecks, and a wig when he was a teenager. Everybody thought that was just part of his costume. Okay, so you can actually lose skin color and hair color, whether you're a white guy, an Asian, or a black guy, or whatever. Okay, so all that's part of this deficiency. So at any rate, no bad stuff, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, and oats. At 165 pounds, 2 healthy brain and heart packs, full dose of everything twice a day. I would also take, because of the thyroid issue, I would also take the 2 bottles a month of the Ocean's Gold, so I can take 3 of those twice a day. This person also needs to stay away from cruciferous vegetables, which interferes with the thyroid. No cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale. Okay. Then they need the MSM for the osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, MSM, 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. Vitamin D3, 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month. And then call us with more information and have them get on live next time so I can ask them some questions, okay?
He is here live. Dr. Wallach, would you like me to unmute
White
him?
spot eyelid.
What?
The
I said
syringoma is white spots under the eyelid.
Yes, and I was asking you if you would like me to unmute Randy because he is here live.
No.
Okay.
Okay, no, that's fine. We're done. Randy should call me in 2 weeks.
All right. Well, let's go to Barney, who has his hand up. Barney, you are on live with Dr. Wallach. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
can
sir.
see
Go
you
right
too.
ahead.
Okay. 60 years old, 6 foot tall, 165 pounds. Have tinnitus. Have numbness in the hands occasionally.
Okay, has a doctor ever talked to you about that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Do you have anything going on in your neck?
No, it's stiff a little bit occasionally,
Okay.
but not bad.
Oh, but you have this numbness in your hands?
Yeah. When my hands are up by my chest when I'm sleeping, then I'll wake up with
Yeah. Okay, you have what used to be called Erb's palsy, ERB''S palsy. Now it's called Wallach's palsy. You want to get a hold of the book. It's all in your head. Goes into 25 different diseases you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. And when the spinal cord is coming out of that foramen magnum, which is that big hole in the back of the skull, when you have osteoporosis of the skull, your skull goes from a 1/4 of an inch thick to a 1/2 inch thick, and that hole that the spinal cord comes through gets littler and littler, squeezes it, and that's why you have this stuff going on in your hands. You get in a certain position, the skull is going to squeeze your spinal cord, and you have kind of like sciatica of the shoulders and the arms, just like, do you have any low back issues, any low back and some numbness and pain in your feet?
No,
Okay. Any skin problems, eczema, dermatitis, or psoriasis?
no,
Any bowel problems, constipation, diarrhea, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, anything like that?
no. I was on some medication recently, and that's all pretty much cleared up.
But what was it? You said for medication for what?
Well, I had a urinary tract infection and prostatitis,
Mhm.
and that's another thing. My prostate is quite enlarged. So,
Okay, so you also want to add our ProstFX to it. Go ahead and
Right.
take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month of our ProstFX. I also want you to get our Xera test, XERA-TEST, XERA-TEST, Xera test. Get 2 bottles a month. Take 3 of those twice a day. It gives your Sertoli cells in your testicles everything they need to make more testosterone, as long as you're eating 3 eggs twice a day. The yolks have to be soft, okay? Soft scrambled in butter, soft boiled with soft yolks, soft poached, soft yolks, 3 eggs twice a day. And you should not be on any statin drugs. Cholesterol does not cause plaque in the arteries. There is no cholesterol and plaque in your arteries. Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Cholesterol makes up 95% of testosterone. Cholesterol makes up 75% of your brain weight. You better be eating lots of eggs here, okay?
Okay.
Call us every couple of weeks. Anytime you go to the doctor, let us know what they say. But the tinnitus goes away very quickly. So does this stuff in your hands, because the skull responds very quickly. A lot of circulation going up there because of the carotid arteries. And so what happens is, suddenly now, when the pressure is taken off your spinal cord, boy, all that numbness in your hands goes away, okay? All the ringing in your ears goes away, because when you have tinnitus ringing in the ears, that's a squeezing of the auditory branch of the 8th cranial nerve by your skull. And when that happens, if you don't deal with it, you will also lose your hearing. You'll go deaf, okay? And so you got to deal with that ASAP.
okay. One other thing, since my prostate is so enlarged, it's hard to go. So I'm taking Flomax.
Well, as soon as your prostate's happy, which will take just a couple of weeks, on the Xera test and the ProstFX and all these nutrients and everything, you won't need that.
Okay.
Yeah, the prostate responds very quickly.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's keep going here, Rebecca. Rebecca. Okay.
I believe, hi, this is Nassima. I believe she's having some difficulty with
Uh-oh.
the line here. So we will go to Robert Neal, who has
Okay,
his...
wait a minute. I can only see your left ear.
How's that, Doc?
Oh, that's,
Okay.
wait a minute. That's better, right there, right there.
Right there.
No,
Okay.
right, no.
Oh my
I can only-
goodness.
I can only see your desk. There you go.
There.
Beautiful.
There.
There you go.
Thank you.
There's my Nassima. Okay, now, what am I
Thanks
looking at?
again, Doc, for everything you do. We'll go to Robert Neal. Please unmute yourself, Robert, and ask
Okay.
your question.
Okay, Dr. Wallach,
There he is.
hey, yeah, I hold you in extreme high regard. I've been listening to you on the radio, oh my goodness, for about 7 years, and I've recently become a distributor, and I'm very happy
Well,
about that, and I have about
well,
3 questions I want to
Okay,
ask.
well, welcome to the family.
Okay.
Now, wait a
since-
minute, wait a minute. I'm suffering from the same problem here. I'm talking to you and I got somebody else's picture on here.
Yeah, I saw that too. They're back
Okay,
now.
yeah, Nassima.
Yes.
Okay, you have to get this person off when I'm talking to Neil.
I'm back.
Okay. There
Okay,
you
Robert,
go.
there you go. I can't be looking at one person and talking about another one. It mixes me up. Okay.
Okay, like I said, now I'm a distributor and I'm very happy about that. And one of my 3 questions is I tend to be innovative like you in my thinking. When you were talking to the guys years ago, at the truck stops, and you came up with ideas. As I'm listening to you, I'm coming up with ideas too. So the first question I want to ask, is there any way I could leave a number? And as busy as you are, if I could get, I'd give $1 million if I could talk to you for 30 seconds once.
Well, I'll do it for free. But what you do when you're off the air, give your number to Nasima, okay, or Rebecca, who's ever on there, but don't do it, over the air. Give it to them or email them or whatever. Okay.
Okay, I'll do
And
that.
And I'll be
Okay,
happy
good.
to, I'll be happy to call you.
Oh man, boy, I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, my next question is about I'm sold on the gluten thing. I don't want to go back to it. I have cheated on it, but I'm working my way off of it, and I'm resolved not to get into gluten. But what is gluten? You seem to let us know that this is something. Don't mess with it. Is it something that can be, with the today's technology, processed, let's say, out of wheat? Can they, and then now, oh, gluten's gone, I can eat wheat now. Is that possible?
All things are possible, but nobody's done it yet. Okay. And so it's one of those things where if you want to eat gluten-free, you got to eat rice and millet and buckwheat, those kind of things, sweet
Okay.
potatoes,
All right.
and soybeans and those kind of things. You cannot eat wheat, barley, rye, or oats. You cannot drink wheat, barley, rye, and oats. If you like beer, that's fine, but you got to drink Japanese or Chinese beer made from rice. There's actually a rice wine also. You
Okay,
can,
I love that
but
stuff.
there's nothing wrong with the wine because it's usually made from grapes and berries. That's fine. There's no gluten in grapes and berries.
Okay.
But no wheat, barley, rye, or oats. You got to watch it. You can have a corn tortilla if it's 100% corn tortilla, no flour tortillas, right? So it kind of sneaks in on you, those flour tortillas. People say, I'm eating Mexican. Well, the Mexicans have the highest rate of gluten-caused diseases in the world. You
Yeah,
don't
I
want to be
heard
eating
you
like a
say that.
Mexican. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. And the next question I want to ask you is, when it comes to joint pain, what am I looking at? I'm going to look at the list and the things that my upline sent me, and I'm
Mhm.
going to get something for joint pain. But I just wanted to ask you right now, since I have you in front of me.
Okay, well, I like to attack pain from two different directions. Number one, get rid of the problem that's causing the pain, as well as give you pain relief while while the healing is happening. And so again, you got to get rid of gluten, wheat, barley, rye, and oats so you can absorb the nutrients. You want to take the 90 essential nutrients. In this COVID time, I would take the big hammer, one healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight. You need to take MSM. And if you have joint pain, I'd go with 3 MSM tablets 3 times a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's going to rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between a vertebrae, bone, makes your bone itself. And an orthopedic surgeon and a rheumatologist will tell you cannot rebuild cartilage. You say, excuse me, sir, send me your last bill here because you won't see me again. Get out of there right now, okay?
All right.
Because they're lying to you because he's got 3 kids in college and he needs your money to pay their tuition, okay? We regrow cartilage and ligaments and tendons and connective tissue 1,000 times a minute around the world, okay? So, and then of course, for topical pain relief, we use the CM cream and the trauma oil. We use the Soothe from our Hemp FX division and our trauma oil. Apply those topically, and within a couple of minutes, you get pain relief. And our trauma oils from our aromatherapy oil division. And people say, well, you say no oils, no oils, no oils. Why am I going to be using all those oils?
Yeah.
Well, aromatherapy oils are not oils. They're esters. They're only 2 carbons long and they don't have double bonds. Oils are 18 to 30 carbons long and they have 3 or 4 or 5 double bonds. So when we're talking about aromatherapy oils, they're really an ester, just a 2 carbon chain, okay? But they're oily, they're slick. And so 1,000 years ago, they called them oil because they didn't know the difference in the chemistry.
Okay. Okay, good. And then finally, thanks to you, not bragging. I mean, that's why I'm a distributor 4 years later, because I check out.
Tell your story.
I check out things thoroughly, and I listen to you and Nori and I said, I'm going to try some of this stuff. I tried the egg thing and all of this, and getting to the point, I'm 70. I almost forgot my birthday is. It's in January. It's coming up in a couple of months. And people are asking me, what kind of dye do you use in your hair? I said, I don't dye my hair. And 4 years ago, I was starting to get gray hair all over the place. Now I'm working on my mustache, and it appears the black's coming back in that.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
your beard, your mustache will turn back to its original color. It's a
Okay.
little slower than the hair. The hair on the top of your head will turn back to normal color quicker, but the mustache and nasal hair, ear hair, they'll all come, your beard will come back normal color.
Okay, so what do I need to do two things and then I'm off the phone? To boost that mustache hair color and get rid of some of these bags under my eyes. And then I'll be back to looking like I'm 35 again.
Okay, more MSM,
Okay,
three times a day. And then of
Okay.
course, you want, right now you should be taking 3 of our selenium twice a day. But
oh, okay,
because you want to get rid of that gray in your mustache and your beard, you got to take three times a day. And it's not for the selenium by itself, but it's also the cofactors. Okay, the cofactors that we've added to our selenium are the things that are missing when you get a gray hair, gray mustache, and gray beard.
beautiful. Okay, and anything I should take internally to reduce the bags, or they're just gonna be there? That's just it.
No, as I told you, if you get rid of all the gluten and you take everything I told you, including 9 of our MSM per day, the MSM.
Okay,
See, the reason why you have bags on your eyes is the elastic fibers are breaking down in your skin and your face.
okay,
Okay, and so that'll all repair. We've been made wonderfully, and so that even if you're 110, you can look like you're 40.
okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank
hasta
you very
luego.
much. Okay.
Okay, I'm thinking Rebecca's still having issues, so we will move on to Charles Mehard. If you can unmute yourself, and I'll put you on the spotlight so Dr. Wallach
You
can
ready
see.
for a break?
Hello, is this Charles?
Dr. Wallach, we are at the top of the hour.
Okay, well let me take a little break here. I'll be back in 5 minutes, and Charles, we'll go with Charles next.
Sounds great.
Sounds
Thank you. Be back in 5 minutes.
And I just wanted to say, Victor, I see that your audio is connected, but not, I mean, your video is connected, but not your audio. So if I know you have your hand up, we need you to go back out and come back in and make sure you connect with device audio. So if anybody's showing up with just their camera, but their microphone is not showing, that's because your audio is not connected. So you can click on the little mute button. There's a little caret there that brings up a menu. You can click on that, and sometimes there will be an option to connect device audio. You want to make sure that you connect that. We care about all of you. We want to make sure that if you have a question and you want to ask Dr. Wallach about things that you've got going on in your health or the health of someone you love, that you get those questions answered. So we are at the top of the hour. We thank you all. And Marilyn, yes, I see your hand. You've got your hand raised like you're supposed to. Perfect. Right on. We will get to you in the order that your hand was raised. If you have any desire, if you have never spoken with anybody about any of the products that you're hearing about today, we have a call team that is standing by at 855-949-7234. But if you have purchased the longevity products in the past, or you were invited here by somebody specifically, you want to get with the person that invited you, or if you want to do a repeat order, we have our corporate line, 800-982-3189, and they will be able to assist you with placing an order as well. You can also do a reply to the invitation that you received to come in today, and we can get you connected in the way that you need to, so that we can make sure you're getting what you need and nothing more. So everybody take just a couple minutes, stand up, stretch. We've got 1 hour more to go. Again, thank you so much for joining us with Ask Doc Live. We are here and we are back
Yay. Is
live
Charles
with
here?
Dr. Wallach.
Okay, Charles,
All
are you
right,
there?
Dr. Wallach.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go ahead and ask Charles to unmute.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
We
I
can hear you now, Charles. Go ahead.
Okay, I've called before and you said to call back to let me know my progress, but I have another really calling about somebody else. But anyhow, I get shots, hormone shots for my kidneys to make them make blood because I don't make the hormone in my kidneys. So last time I went, which about 3 weeks ago, I was down to 10.1 hemoglobin. I got one shot, and the next week I was up to 12. And so back to normal. And I think it's due to because of taking all the supplements I do from you. So I responded really quickly. I never have done that before. So.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for that feedback. How many of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets are you taking today?
Ultimate, I take 3 a day.
Okay, you need to take three times a day if you have kidney issues. I'll tell you a great little story here while you're writing that down. Do you have any high blood pressure issues?
I do. I take blood pressure too.
Okay. Well, get rid of all the gluten out of your life. Okay. No
I
wheat, bread,
do.
or oats. Oh, well, somebody in your household is eating gluten because you still have gray hair. Okay.
Well, I know, but I've been taking that. My hair, if I can look at it, it used to be white. Now it's gray and it's coming in black again.
Yeah, a little bit of salt and pepper. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Well, your
not
kidneys. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Let me finish so because our listeners catch up with us.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And so your kidneys produce a hormone called renin, R-E-N-N-I-N. And renin causes your blood pressure to go up to drive more dirty blood into the kidney so the kidney can filter it. Were you ever considered for dialysis?
Yes.
Did they ever put you on dialysis or they just talked about it?
I went to take dialysis and then I got off all the things you said to get off of, and then the supplements began working and I went from 14 to 17.
Okay, good. All right. So at any rate, we take people that have not urinated 1 drop of urine in 10 years. Okay, they're on dialysis 6 days a week because they don't want to get a kidney transplant. And I've had them been that way for 10 years. They were on dialysis totally for 25 years. We put them on the program where they're getting 3 of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets 3 times a day, in addition to the 90 essential nutrients. Okay, and getting rid of all the gluten and all the bad stuff. And in 2 weeks' time, they're urinating. So they dropped the dialysis down from 6 times a week for 10 years down to 3 times a week. And in 2 more weeks, are totally off of dialysis after 25 years. We do this hundreds of times a year. Okay. And people who are on dialysis 3 days a week, we get them off of that thousands of times a month all over the world. Okay. Because 99% of the time, when you have a kidney issue, there's nothing wrong with your kidneys. So it says, well, my blood is not being filtered by the kidney. Well, that's because your kidney's not getting the dirty blood because you really have an artery problem. And that's why you need the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, 3 of those 3 times a day. And it'll speed things up here. Okay. That's in addition to the 90. Don't sacrifice the 90, but you need the 3 the 3 Ultimate Daily Classic tablets 3 times a day in addition to the 90. Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Okay, what else can I do for you today?
Well, I take care of old people, and one of the people I take care of is a paraplegic guy. He's 48 years old, and for the last 24 years, he's been laying in bed, helpless. And I asked him if he would mind that I come to you to get some help for him. He has a number of issues, and I'll go over those. But from the car wreck, he had a piece of bone pressing against his C4 and C5, which caused him to not be able to move his body. And he can't move his legs or his left arm. In his right arm, he can scratch his head, but he can't.
And that's been for 25 years?
24 years, yeah.
24 years, okay. So what else has he got?
He has a kidney problem. He has calcium and bacteria stones in his kidneys, and he's been septic 6 times. His left.
Okay, well, stop there for a minute. Kidney stones are caused by osteoporosis and deficiency of minerals. And what happens is your parathyroid gland starts pulling minerals out of your bones to try and lift up the blood level of calcium, and it goes too high, and some of it precipitates out as kidney stones and bladder stones and stuff like that. It's not because he's getting too much calcium. He's not getting enough when you get stones, okay? Just the opposite of what doctors will tell you. That's why, you know, that's why only dead doctors don't lie. Okay, so go ahead. What else has he got?
So let's see, his left arm has a calcium spur in his elbow.
Okay, okay, we already know he's got that problem. What else has he got? Keep
And
going
he's got
faster.
ringing in the ears.
Osteoporosis of the skull, tinnitus, ringing in the ears. Okay, what else has he got?
He has a problem building up muscle. He's kind of trying to do things.
Well, he can't exercise for 25 years. Okay, what else has he got?
So he has issues trying to eliminate. And I have
Okay,
to put on,
is he constipated?
yes.
Okay,
And
does he have any skin problems? Eczema,
sometimes
dermatitis, dry skin?
it's on, yeah, on and off.
Okay, stop. All right, how much does this guy weigh?
About 120 pounds. He's 6'2". He's, what else can I tell you? He's 48.
Well, he's very skinny. Yeah, he's very skinny. Okay,
Right.
so this guy needs to get rid of all the gluten out of his life. He needs to eat like an Asian. I want him to eat 4 meals a day because he's so skinny. He eats 4 meals a day. I want him to eat, you know, like 3 ice cream scoops full of rice and sweet potatoes, 3 scoops of rice and 3 scoops of sweet potatoes with butter 3 times a day or 4 times a day. I want him to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. And I want him to have the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets so he can take 3 of those twice a day. I want him to have 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets so he can take 3 twice a day to support healthy blood pressure and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. I also want him to have the vitamin D3. He needs vitamin D3, 3 of those 3 times a day. That's 3 bottles a month. And he also needs in addition to the MSM, 3 of those twice a day, 1 bottle a month. I want him to get the glucogel. I'd have him take the liquid. He could take 2 quarts a month, take an ounce of that twice a day. And we have a sports drink called Rebound. He could drink 2 servings of Rebound a day. He can either use the little sticks, you know, there are single servings here off at the top, and pour the powder into a bottle of water, and he can sip on that for an hour or 2. Or we also sell it in 12-ounce cans. He can sip on that for a couple of hours. Don't jam it down because then he'll be wanting to go to the bathroom all the time. But that will all help him with his bowel movements. But he's got to stay away from gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, oats, no oatmeal for breakfast. Okay, no flour tortillas, no spaghetti. All that stuff's got to go. No beer unless it's Japanese and Chinese beer made from rice. He can have wine because it's made from grapes and berries. And I want to hear about this guy on a weekly basis. Call me and give me a report because I think we can rehab that guy even after 25 years of being paraplegic. Okay.
How about his nerves? How about being able to move again? You think that?
Well, as I say, I think he won't be a paraplegic after 4 to 6 months there. Okay. But we've got to get the osteoporosis out of his skull. He's squeezing his spinal cord. He's also had that injury to his neck and all that kind of stuff. We're going to have to repair all that. Okay. And, you know, just taking drugs to deal, you know, with the symptoms hasn't helped him in 24 years. Okay. And so we need to change what's going on here. And so he needs to get a hold of the book. It's all in your head. So he understands where we're going. It's a totally different approach to his problem.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, sir. We'll look forward to hearing from you soon. Okay, Rebecca, back to you.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Dr. Wallach. Now, for any of you that are interested in getting any of Dr. Wallach's books, we do have them in our store at AskDocLive.com. So you can go ahead and go to the website, get those there. His most popular ones are there. And all of his publications are at DRJ Wallach. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, the website.
Breaking up bad, yeah.
The websites are askdoclive.com. Most of the books, CDs, and DVDs are available there, and your purchases through there do support us bringing to you these weekly meetings. where Dr. Wallach gives us free lectures and free consultations. You can see Doc is holding up different titles of books that he's mentioned in today's meeting. You can also go to drjwallach.com. That's drjwallach.com. And Wallach, as Rebecca likes that spelled out for some of the listeners, it's WALLACH.com. You can also call by phone 800-755-4656 to order your books and CDs. Make a note of all the websites and phone numbers that are written in the chat and comments, because those will not be available in the recordings. If you've missed any answers or titles or names of products, you can always listen to recordings of these calls by going to www.askdoclive.com. And there you have control of stopping, rewinding, forwarding, sharing with family and friends, and do invite family and friends to these calls as well. Right back at you, Doc.
Okay, thank you so much, Nasima. Oh, you are so great. Thank you so much. And Nasima and Rebecca, do I have about 2 minutes here? I want to talk about something for 2 minutes, if that's okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. I do have a new 2 CD set coming out. It's called the Wallach Corpus. The Wallach Corpus, C-O-R-P-U-S, which is Latin for body. It could be a body of information, a dead body. The corpus just is the word that means body, the Wallach Corpus. Now, to the average person, that won't mean much until I tell you what it means. You go back 2,300 years ago, there was a guy by the name of, let's see here, Hippocrates, okay? And he's considered the father of modern medicine because he was the first guy to create hospitals and organize treatment plans for the same disease all over the place. Before Hippocrates came along, there were all these magi's and magicians and witches and herbalists and prophets and all these other people running around following Noah and Moses and Jesus. And when they'd have these big crowds to hear them, they were in there underneath selling their herbs and things and so on. And he noticed that they were killing more people than they were helping. And so he said, you know, we got to systemize this somehow. And 2003 years old, he came up with what was called the Hippocratic Corpus, okay? And he had 59 diseases that he could recognize from 50 feet away. And he had a treatment that would cure all 59 different diseases. Number 60, the 60th of the corpuses, which all came in one book, was the Hippocratic Oath, which all medical doctors have to raise their hand and repeat the Hippocratic Oath when they graduate. And basically it says, I will not do anything bad to the patient or divulge all their secrets and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. Well, the original Hippocratic Corpus, Hippocrates says, don't tell the patient what it is that I'm curing them with, send them to me so I can make a living, okay? And so that was the original Hippocratic Oath. Okay, now, here's the deal. That was 2,300 years ago. Nothing has changed in medicine in 2,300 years. Now, there's new machines for diagnoses. There's new machines for monitoring. There are new drugs for treating symptoms, but they're still just treating symptoms. The only drugs that cure anything are antibiotics. The only drugs that cure anything are antibiotics. So kill streptococcus, staphylococcus, salmonella, you know, all these various bacteria and everything. And the medical system is the greatest killer of Americans of anybody. Now, Wallach said, they'll say, Wallach, are you out of your mind? Well, I'm just going to repeat what the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine wrote an article. It's a 7-year study, started in 2013, and they published it about 6 weeks ago. They looked at the top 8 killers of Americans in hospitals each year in America alone, just America. These numbers are just for American hospitals. And they said the number 1 killer was complications of treatments of heart disease in the hospitals, infections and surgery mistakes and, you know, that kind of stuff. Number 1 killer. Number 2 killer is cancer treatment complications, chemotherapy, radiation, wrong treatments, bleeding to death, infections, and blah, 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 blah. But the number 3 was the one that interested me. The number 3 cause of death in American hospitals each year, the number 3 cause of deaths in American hospitals each year was medical errors. medical errors, okay, mistakes. And they said, now I'm just quoting Johns Hopkins, now the most famous, I would say the most famous medical school, you know, in America, Baltimore, Maryland, very famous, very well respected. And so you got to respect their writing this. Yeah, I respect their writing this. They said, the number 3 cause of death in American hospitals each year is medical errors. Each year in America, medical doctors in hospitals or workplace kill 251,000 to 440,000 patients each year in hospitals from medical errors. Now, Nasima, you tell me what business in America could stay in business if they killed 440,000 customers in their workplace every year? Zero. If they kill 2, they shut them down and do investigations and somebody goes to jail and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's one trade that for 13 years at least, they've been killing 251,000, 440,000 of their customers in their workplace every year. None of them lose their license. None of them go to jail. Oh, there's insurance that pay. Maybe gangsters need to get insurance. So when they kill somebody, insurance pays the family, so everybody's happy. Okay, so I mean, this drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And so this is why I spend so much time trying to teach people to treat themselves. You don't need to go to a doctor to see if you have diabetes. You can go to a pharmacy without a prescription and get a test strip for $1.50, either a urine test strip or a blood test strip. You don't need a doctor to see if you're obese. Just stand on a scale. If you're 25 pounds over your ideal weight for your height, you're obese. You don't need to go to a doctor to see if you have high blood pressure problems. You don't have to go to a doctor to see if you have a fever. You don't have to go to a doctor to see if you're malabsorbing because you have celiac disease. You get the book, Rare Forbidden Cures, and go to chapter 10, 11, learn how to do a hair analysis. And it'll tell you if you're absorbing or not. It'll tell you what nutrients you're low in. Okay. And it's all tax deductible. If you're doing this as a business, your longevity business is a willable asset. You can leave it to your kids or your church or whoever you want to leave it to, your spouse or whatever, as opposed to you do a job at a filling station, you do a job in a restaurant, you do a job in a university, you do a job in a factory. When you die, does your kid get your job? Do they get an ongoing paycheck for the next 20 years? No. But you do with your longevity business. So, and I haven't killed anybody that didn't deserve killing. I was in the military for 27 years, so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach, for your service as well. We're gonna go on to the next question here, but before we do, if you are interested in joining Longevity to do the business as Dr. Wallach explained and sharing his word and making commissions based on the hard work you do to get your supplements paid for and share the information to make the world healthier. Yes, go ahead, Doc.
I have to interrupt here. I forgot to say, I got so excited about this Wallach corpus. Okay.
Yeah.
This 2 CD set is coming out today. So it'll be shipped tomorrow. So they can start ordering it through you guys today. It's called the Wallach corpus. It's a 2 CD set. It was 2 years of recordings, me lecturing through Canada for 2 years.
Wow.
Okay. All the diseases said to be genetic. All the diseases said to be inherited. All the diseases said to be caused by Agent Orange, you know, crapola like that. Okay. And what the real truth was is in this Wallach's corpus. So once you know the truth, let's see, isn't there a statement that says, set yourself free and learn the truth and set yourself free? Okay.
Yes.
And so the Wallach corpus is available now. It's a 2 CD set. It's not any more expensive than any of our other CD sets. And I'm so excited about this. And it was actually filmed by this crew that followed me for 2 years through Canada. And the quality is just outrageously good.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. I can't wait to get my set and to order yours because it's so new and it's just come out today. If you do not find it on www.askdoclive.com, please go ahead and call 800-755-4656, which is Wellness Publications, run by Dr. Milan, who's Dr. Wallach's wife, and get yours ordered today. We have a question now from Scott Sutton. Scott, if you will unmute yourself, that way if Dr. Wallach can look at you and ask you more questions and you can answer. Doc Scott is 155 pounds, age 67. He says, I have nerve pain in my forehead from the shingles virus about 5 years ago. Is there anything I can do?
Okay. Yeah, well, there may be several things going on here. He may actually have osteoporosis of the skull, which most doctors don't even know about, right? And so two things we're going to do here. If he weighs 165 pounds, he needs to get rid of all the bad stuff so he can absorb the nutrients, right? No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown rice, no sugar. And then I would have him take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, the full dose of everything twice a day. He also needs the MSM, 3 of those twice a day in case he's actually got osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, because all these things going on in the skull and the scalp and the face and stuff can be due to osteoporosis of the skull. Okay, where the nerves are being squeezed. And so that'd be the MSM, 3 of those, a minimum of 3 twice a day, which would be 1 bottle a month. If price is not an issue, go ahead and get 2 bottles a month and take 3 times a day. He also needs to take the, let's see here, I'd also go ahead and eat 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks, so you know, kind of help the brain rebuild itself. Remember that 75% of the brain weight is cholesterol, so he does need the eggs 3 with soft yolks 3 times a day, or twice a day minimum. And then he also needs to take, I would go with the CM cream and the trauma oil. He could apply to that location on his scalp or his skull, forehead, see if that helps. If it doesn't help, it may be originating from inside, but sometimes it's misinterpreted. And so just putting that CM cream and the trauma oil on helps, or the Soothe and the trauma oil can help. It can't hurt to put it on. Okay. And again, avoid all the bad foods to maximize the absorption. And if in case he has the shingles, if the shingles is still going on, he could take the pollen burst, the killer biotic, those kinds of things. Take 2 servings a day. I'm going to,
What's going on, Doc?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I don't know what happened, but I cannot see you. Just, okay, keep going.
I spotlighted my video. Now can you see me?
No.
Oh. Maybe.
I'll get rid of done here.
Dr.
Oh, there you
Wallach,
are.
Can you see us?
I see Nasima now. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doc. We'll go to the next question here. Scott may have had to drop out of the call. Couldn't find him, so that's why we couldn't show you his image. Next one is Dwight. A question. He's 6 feet tall, 306 pounds, 69 years old. VA hospital has told me that I have cirrhosis of the liver, heart murmur, kidney problems, plus, I'm going to butcher the enunciation of this word, ASCITES, for which they have drained twice.
Ascites is fluid in his belly.
Okay, that they have drained twice. His scrotum is enlarged. I have been on a non-gluten diet for 2 weeks. What advice do you have for him, Doc?
Okay, well, 6 foot tall, I'd like to see him weigh 200 pounds. So he's at least 100, 110 pounds overweight, right? And so we need to make sure that he's ideally, if cost is not an issue, and I'm seeing myself here, okay, ideally, he would be taking 3 of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. He needs to be ideally, he would take 3 of the Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month. That's going to deal with the cirrhosis of the liver. That's going to deal with the heart issue. And if finances are a problem, don't go any lower than 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month. He also needs to take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I would have him take 3 of those 3 times a day. That'll get blood flowing through blocked arteries in his heart, his brain. his kidneys and so forth. And since he does, you said he had some ascites and kidney issues.
Yes.
I also, and he has some scrotal issues and stuff. I'd also have him do two other things. Number one, I would have him take the de-stress capsules. Okay, could have congestive heart failure. I'd have him take the de-stress capsules, take 3 of those 3 times a day. It'll be 3 bottles a month of the de-stress capsules. I would also have him take the Ultimate Niacin plus 1 of those with each meal. That'll be 3 bottles a month of that. And then lastly, I would throw in the, and this is going to save him a lot of money. I want him to take the keto caramel diet, 2 of his 3 meals a day, and he'll lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. So within 2 to 3 months, he should be able to lose that 110 pounds he needs to lose safely. Okay. Doesn't have to be the same 2 meals every day. It could be rotated around based on a schedule. So it takes about 10, 15 minutes to deal with the shake. Takes about 30 seconds to deal with the bar. So if you're in a hurry, grab the bar. If you have a little bit of time, you can make the shake. 2 or 3 meals a day, and you'll lose a half pound, 2 pounds a day. But don't forget those nutrients. You won't lose the weight without the nutrients, because people are overweight and obese because they are minerally deficient, and they have a habit or a behavior that they get when they're minerally deficient called pica, P-I-C-A, and they're driven to eat. Frank, you just had, or Dwight, you just had a 3,000 calorie meal. What do you mean you want 6 desserts? Well, I don't know. I'm just still hungry. I don't feel full. Well, that's because of this pica behavior, because of mineral deficiency. Your body's telling you, get more minerals. Okay, I'm still seeing myself here instead of you ladies.
Okay.
There you go. There's the beautiful Nasima.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. We have a question from Victor. Victor, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. I know you had your hand raised earlier, but some of the hands have dropped off. So go ahead and ask your question, Victor. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
I see Victor. Okay.
Hey, I weigh 140 pounds and I'm 6'3". I'm 53 years old. I have Crohn's disease with fistulas.
Okay.
It's really bad.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that you can have some specific help for what I can do to get those fistulas to close.
Well, first of all, we got to get rid of the Crohn's disease, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. And I want you to listen. This never fails. This never fails. You and everybody in your household, whether it's the dog, the cat, the bird, the fish, spouse, partner, roommate, people who come to clean your house, have to be drop dead gluten-free. So there's no cross-contamination in the bed, the bathroom, the laundry, the food preparation surfaces, the couches, the rugs. Okay. Do you work in a bakery?
No, sir.
Okay. What kind of work do you do?
I'm disabled.
Okay. All right. Well, Crohn's disease is a gluten issue. Okay. Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, they're all related. When you look at them under the microscope, they're all the same disease. They're just given different names depending on the location. Okay. But they're all the same disease under the microscope. So no wheat, no barley, rye, oats. If you're going to drink beer, it's fine, but it's got to be Japanese beer and Chinese beer. I'm talking to the rest of the world too, as well as yourself.
I
Okay.
understand.
So,
I
okay.
understand.
Okay. And so it's got to be the beer made from rice. You cannot have flour tortillas. You can have corn tortillas, but you can't have flour tortillas, that kind of stuff. And you got to watch it. If you're going to drink vodka, you got to watch. It's got to be the old vodka made from potatoes, the Russian way. It can't be made out of the new vodka, which is made out of rye and barley. Okay. And so all that stuff kind of sneaks up on you. And so the only cereals and bread and stuff like that you can have has got to be made out of rice and buckwheat and millet and stuff like that. Potatoes, potato flour. You cannot have anything made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Nobody you come in contact with. Nobody can be washing their clothes in the same washer and dryer as you. You can't be washing your clothes in a public laundromat because of all the gluten and so forth. Now, at 140 pounds, I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month. I also want you to take our ultimate enzymes. You can go ahead and take 2 of those, say half hour. Let me back up. Take 2 of those 2 to 3 minutes before each meal with a couple ounces of water. Our ultimate enzymes. That's going to help you absorb what you do eat. Okay. And then I also want you to take our MSM to repair the walls of your intestines and help you regrow the villi in your intestines. Once you take the MSM, once you take 3 of those 3 times a day, it'll be 2 bottles a month of the MSM. Vitamin D3, I want you to take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And do you have any other issues? Any high blood pressure, diabetes, those kind of things? No? Okay,
No.
good. All right, well, let's start there. And this, you can recover very quickly. I get people who've been suffering with this for 20 years, and in 3 weeks' time, they see benefit, and in 2 months' time, they're totally rebuilt. But you've got to get rid of all contact with gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, and oats, so you can absorb these nutrients. And that's where the problem is. When you have Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, that kind of stuff. And if you have any, wouldn't hurt to throw in some de-stress capsules. You take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month, de-stress capsules, and that will help you with brain function and balance. Wouldn't hurt to throw in one of our Ultimate Niacin Plus twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's going to cover a lot of territory. And if you have any circulation problems, I would throw in the Ultimate Daily Classic Tablets, 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. And that's going to help your liver and all that kind of stuff. But the 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs will help your liver, your brain, your muscles, your bones, all that kind of stuff, and your intestines. And don't forget the Ultimate Enzymes to help you do a better job of digestion and absorption, because you've been gone many years with this problem, and there's a lot of damage in your intestines. It's going to take weeks to begin to heal, but it will heal. It never fails.
Mhm.
Look, I'm on a liquid diet now.
Just make sure there's no gluten in it.
Okay.
Believe me, there's no gluten in my liquid diet.
Okay, very good. Just
Okay.
make sure nobody in your household is eating gluten. They cannot eat
Okay.
gluten. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the secret. Anybody within a 10-mile reach of you cannot be eating gluten.
I didn't see your message, Rebecca. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. We are going to go to the next person, but before we do, again, if you want to order products and you are a first-time customer new to Youngevity, please go to askdoclive.com or call 855-949-7234. We have a team of customer service reps, knowledgeable ones who can answer your questions, whether you want to order as a customer or join the team as a distributor. If you were referred by somebody, please circle back to them or contact the corporate Youngevity office. We're going to go to Marilyn. Marilyn, I've asked you to unmute yourself and ask your question to Dr. Wallach.
Dr. Wallach, I am 150 pounds, 5'7", 65 years young, and I went to the doctor and they said I should have surgery on my nose. I have squamous cell carcinoma, and I had a biopsy, and I've been using turmeric, aloe vera, and a remedy from one of my friends does remedies. And I was wondering if you believe that I should get the surgery, because I was thinking to take the Radical Z and the other product that Sheena recommended for 3 months and then get another biopsy.
Okay, well, the concern is there's always a chance that if the squamous cell carcinoma in your nose has not metastasized, if it has not gone anywhere yet, you might want to get rid of it. Because if you wait 3 months, that's plenty of time for it to go somewhere else, right?
Okay.
And so I'm always concerned about that. And so I would get another opinion. Okay, you don't have to have another biopsy, anything like that, but have another doctor look at, right?
Yes, I did that. I got 2 opinions. Yes.
Okay, and they're both about the same?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. And so I would go ahead and have that removed.
Okay.
Okay, but then I would do all this stuff, as the ladies have pointed out to you, okay? 150 pounds, you want to be taking 2 of the Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. Wouldn't hurt to get another bottle of our Selenium, so you can take 3 of those 3 times a day. And it doesn't hurt. You already talked about Z Radical, right?
Yes.
Take a couple of servings of that a day. If you're traveling, you can use the Fucoid Z capsules. And don't forget the Pollen Burst and Pollen Burst and the Cell Shield RTQ, those kind of things.
And the cell what?
Cell Shield RTQ.
RTQ, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin.
Yes, okay,
Okay. And then give us a call after the surgery's done, and and just ask them to be generous. In other words, take out more normal tissue than they would normally do. In other words, don't just get right around the edge of that tumor and leave one cell there. You understand what I'm saying?
okay. They
You
said
know,
they would
need,
take it out and then examine it and see if there's any more in there and then
if
take
they've
the
left
rest
some.
out.
Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, we don't want any of those cells. You know, you just leave one cell in there. It kind of lays around for a couple of months and then well, I better start having some babies, you know, and then suddenly
Okay,
now a year later you got it coming back. And so we don't want that. And so if this is in the earliest of stages and it's all encapsulated, that's a beautiful thing. I'd go ahead and get that out.
okay, thank you, Dr. Wallach.
Okay, you bet. Bye-bye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.
Doc, we have a question from by an email from a person called Dana, but it's, I believe, the generic answer of osteoporosis of the skull. And if that's the case, I'll ask the question, but if that's the case, I want to remind everybody that you can listen to recordings of these meetings on askdoclive.com. So if your questions are similar to someone else who has asked those questions, you know, listen to those recordings, and also you can see the book Dr. Wallach is holding up. It's All in Your Head. Would be a book to get a copy of. And I see Marilyn, you want to unmute yourself so then Dr. Wallach can see the host and the next caller, please. Thank you, because we still see you as the highlight. But Doc, Dana's question is, she has numbness in her left foot, and in the mornings only, and this crazy pain and cramping in both hands, but more so in my hand. And unfortunately, she hasn't provided any more detail.
Okay, let's go by body weight. She obviously has osteoporosis of the skull. She may have shrunk a little bit, but she's got some sciatica stuff because she's got this numbness in her left foot and she's got numbness in both hands. Okay, so it's the skull squeezing the spinal cord. Okay, and that's why she's got numbness in her hands, because she's got like sciatica in her shoulder girdle. Okay, and it's not unusual for them to have neck numbness and shoulder pain or pain in their arms, and the doctor say, oh, you got osteoporosis, let's schedule you for a shoulder replacement and all that kind of stuff. There's really osteoporosis of the skull. And so you have to appreciate, most doctors don't even remember their anatomy. Most of them probably were skipping out and having beer when they should have been doing the dissections. Your spinal cord forms in your brain. That's the last thing that people would think of. Their spinal cord forms in your brain, comes out of the back of the skull through a big hole called the foramen magnum, which is Latin for big hole. Okay. And when that skull has osteoporosis, it goes from 1/4 of an inch thick to 1 inch thick. And the hole in the back of the skull, the foramen magnum, gets about half the size it's supposed to be, and it squeezes that spinal cord. You start getting all this stuff in your shoulders and your arms and your hands and your fingers. And doctor said, oh, you have carpal tunnel syndrome kind of thing, right? And carpal tunnel syndrome, usually you're going to have it in one hand first. So why would you have it in both hands, carpal tunnel syndrome? Well, that's because your spinal cord is being squeezed as it's coming out of the skull. And what comes off your spinal cord in your neck that goes down your arms? And oh, your nerves, okay? And so they're being impacted because your spinal cord is being squeezed as it's coming out of the back of the skull. So again, let's assume per 100 pounds of body weight here. This is per 100 pounds of body weight. The Zana has got to get rid of all the bad stuff. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, and oats. And then I wanted to have per 100 pounds of body weight, 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. I wanted to have 1 bottle a month per 100 pounds of the MSM, so you can take 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. She needs 3 of the vitamin D3 twice a day. That's per 100 pounds of body weight. That's 2 bottles a month. She needs the glucogel. Okay. If she's going to get the capsules, I want her to get 2 of those bottles a month, so you can take 5 3 times a day. She can use the liquid. She can get 2 quarts of that per 100 pounds of body weight. Use 1 ounce twice a day. Okay. We do have the collagen peptides. She can also add that if she wants to kind of rebuild the bones in the skull and the cartilage and disc in her neck. Deal with all this stuff. And but this is a permanent thing. She can never go back to eating gluten. because your body has a memory kind of thing. It has a memory for bad things and it has a memory for good things. And so if you give up gluten and you take all the 90 essential nutrients and you heal yourself, and 6 months later you say, oh, thank God. Now I can go back and have my oatmeal for breakfast and drink my beer every night and have spaghetti 3 nights a week, and then you will die because you're not going to get rid of that sensitivity to gluten.
Thank you, Doc. We have a question from Dale, but he doesn't have video, so you won't be able to see his picture.
Okay.
Dale, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question to Dr. Wallach. And also, just a reminder to everyone, please post your comments in the chat that are visible to everyone so all can see those questions. If one host has issues with the internet, then that way the other host can pick it up and ask the question. Go ahead, Dale, and unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, well, we're waiting on Dale.
Yeah,
And just remind
yeah.
everybody that new CD set, the Wallach Corpus, is available as of today, so they can contact you guys and order we actually had one person order 50 of them a few minutes ago. Okay.
Oh, wow.
50 sets. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming they're a distributor. Okay, but the Wallach Corpus is going to change everything. Now, people say you're kind of arrogant, Wallach. Do you think you're, the guy that's going to replace Hippocrates? And my answer is, I hope so.
Thank you, Doc. Unfortunately, Dale must be having some technical issues because we don't see him, but I do have a question from a person that I worked with earlier this week, and it's on PCOS, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome.
Okay.
Just in a generic manner.
Okay, polycystic ovarian syndrome means that where you have your little eggs in there in the ovaries, they're getting cystic, okay? And so there's not enough estrogen for them to develop properly and ovulate and, the whole cycle be finished. And so these individuals with these things, they have to start at the basics. None of the bad stuff so they can absorb the nutrients. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, bran, and oats. They have to also, I want them to have 3 eggs twice a day. Well, my doctor says it's full of cholesterol. Well, fire your doctor. You need 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. If you're allergic to chicken eggs, eat duck eggs. If you're allergic to duck eggs, eat quail eggs or guinea eggs or ostrich eggs. You need 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Not hard-boiled eggs won't count. And then, in addition to 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight, I would throw in what we call, let's see here, it's Xera-Fem, 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 and it tells the ovaries what to do to make estrogen, as long as you're getting the 90 essential nutrients, as long as you're getting the cholesterol in the egg yolks. Okay, now you have to remember that egg yolks are the equivalent to babies that are born from eggs or hatched from eggs as to milk from babies that drink mother's milk. Okay, so the purpose of the yolk in the egg is to replace the milk that the baby's not getting, because a chicken doesn't have breast to make, and it has breasts, but it doesn't make breast milk. Okay, same way with an ostrich. And so that's why there's a yolk in the eggs, because the babies need the antibodies, they need the nutrition, they need the fats and all this kind of stuff, which is in milk. And people say, well, my doctor told me to get on a milk-free diet because I have plaque in my arteries. Well, fire your doctor because you have plaque in your arteries because you're eating salad dressings or frying your foods. You don't have plaque in your arteries because you're drinking milk.
Thank you, Doc. We'll go to Ruth Ellen next. Ruth Ellen, if you unmute yourself. And also thank you, Ruth Ellen. She's one of our co-hosts and she does a lot of things behind the scenes here. Go ahead, Ruth Ellen.
Hi there. Thank you very much, listening.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Wallach. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. All right. So I have a customer who is a vegetarian for religious purposes, and she is struggling with getting enough essential fatty acids. She has crepey skin. She's in her 70s, I believe, and she weighs 126 pounds, and she's on Tangy Tangerine, Beyond OsteoFX, Z Radical, Selenium, the multi-EFA, which is primrose oil, and she takes, I think, 6 of those a day. And she eats like you have been recommending. She eats like an Asian. She's doing the sweet potatoes, the rice. She does salads with avocados and raisins and balsamic vinegar as a dressing.
So
She
is
eats really
her
well.
complaint the creepy skin on her neck?
That she has on her face, and she also takes the HGH Youth Complex and something else, but I can't remember at the very moment. She's also concerned because she's having trouble gaining weight.
Okay, well, I need her to do a couple of things. Number one, she needs to get rid of all the gluten out of her life. Vegetarians
No
tend to
gluten
eat a
at
lot of gluten.
all. She does
Okay,
not
good.
eat one thing, and
Okay, good.
she buys and shops and cooks for herself.
Okay, good. Then I also want her to be an ovo-vegetarian. Eat some eggs, okay? I also want her to use our more minerals, because she needs more minerals to deal with this creepy skin, okay? And the color in her hair and all that kind of stuff. If she's 70 years old, the odds are she has some white hair. So she needs more minerals. So I'd have her take 3 of our selenium 3 times a day. Okay, 3 selenium 3 times a day. And then I would also have her get either our cherry mints or strawberry kiwi minerals. And we do have
She does have plant-derived minerals, and I did tell her to take an ounce of that with her tangy tangerine every day, and at night with the Osteo.
Well, she weighs. I would go ahead and have her take an ounce twice a day. I'd be a little, so she needs 2 quarts a month. And if she wants something to drink for just energy, if she's gonna be driving a long way or needs to be awake during work or something, she can use our Rebound or a sports drink. Doesn't have any animal stuff in there at all. Okay, and so it's a nice nutritional drink. Plus, it gives you energy and it keeps her hydrated and so forth. But it's gonna give her, it has 78 more minerals in it, so she needs more minerals. Is why she has this creepy skin on her neck and face, and she's got, I guarantee she's got some white hair. All vegetarians get white hair. Okay, it's just the nature of their diet. They don't get enough minerals. So it's one of those things where I'd like to see a picture of this gal now. I'm going to see a picture of her in 3 months' time. Okay, and so so you might let her know if she's not listening. We need to just put it on there. That's what I'm saying. I want from her is a picture of her now and a picture of her in 3 months, because I want everybody to see the results of her efforts. Okay, because there's a lot of vegetarians out there for religious reasons, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you do have to do it correctly. And that's why there's ovo-vegetarians, there's ovo-lacto-vegetarians. There's people who it's okay because they do have health issues. Their faith will allow them to have milk and eggs and things along with, as long as they're not eating meat of any kind, no fish, no red meat, no poultry and that kind of stuff. But they can have eggs and dairy. And so that's why there's ovo-vegetarians, there's lacto-vegetarians, there's ovo-lacto-vegetarians. And especially when they get up there in their 70s, I would like them to be an ovo-lacto-vegetarians because they're getting some very high quality protein, which is difficult for a 70-something-year-old to get out of food. So that's kind of where I would go.
Yes, and she does eat lots of butter.
Okay, good.
That's
Butter
good.
is good. So she is a lacto-vegetarian.
Yeah, she just doesn't do the animal where it's causing the death of an animal.
Well, milking a cow doesn't cause a death.
Well, no, that's why she eats butter, but the eggs is. I will tell her.
well, see, if she gets eggs from range-fed chickens, that there's no rooster around, the eggs don't have any baby chicken in there, so she's not killing anything to eat the egg.
Oh, that's a good point. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, that's why they have range-fed, chickens and range-fed beef and stuff like that. Okay, that people say, well, I can't have gluten. Okay, well, make sure the milk comes from a cow that just is range-fed. No oats and wheat and stuff like that. They can have hay, but they can't have, and they can have soybeans, but they can't have any wheat or barley or rye or oats. And so this is very simple. And do we have time for one more? Are we pretty much done?
Doc, we are 2 minutes into the hour, so it's your call. Do you want to take one more question?
No, what I want to do is talk about the Wallach corpus here. This
Yes,
is going
we
to
have-
change. This is going to change
Mhm.
medical science. Is Wallach corpus will replace the Hippocratic corpus, and I do want to replace Hippocrates. Okay, because he did a good thing by organizing the science of healthcare, but they didn't go far enough. They never progressed over the years. Over a period of 2,003 years, they're still treating symptoms. The only drug that cures anything is antibiotics. All other drugs just treat the symptom. Why would you keep somebody on dialysis for 25 years or give them a kidney transplant when changing their diet and giving them the 90 essential nutrients would make their kidney work again? Okay, and so this is the difference between me and Hippocrates. Okay, and so when a doctor when patients got insurance, that was the biggest thing for the medical system, because now the doctor says, well, I can't afford to treat you because you won't pay me for the, what I'm treating you for, my time and everything. Well, now insurance pays. And so the doctor just runs up the bills and he's milking the insurance policy like a farmer milks a Holstein cow. Would you look at that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we need the person to participate. So they're going to be conservative but effective. And that's what we want. We want them to be conservative but effective. And so it takes getting rid of the bad stuff, the fried foods, the processed meats, the oils, the glutens, wheat, brown, and oats, take the 90 essential nutrients. I've done 32,000 autopsies. My thesis is in the Smithsonian Institute for 20,000 autopsies. I showed it says a national treasure. Now, I'm not saying that to brag, but to give credibility. And I'll tell you one story. When I came back from Africa in 1967, Marlon Perkins himself picked me up at the airport. And he gave me 2 pieces of paper. One was everything NIH wanted for their $25 million grant. The other one was his, well, this is what I want, because I'm the one that got the grant for you, because I used your paper to get the grant. And the first thing on there was that all the bears in the zoos around the world were dying of liver cancer. And all the geneticists says, well, it's a genetic thing in bears. You never saw it before. When they die in the woods, the coyotes would eat them and you never knew they died of cancer. I said, no, this is caused by a mold called Aspergillus. What are you feeding them? Well, we give them old bread, but they said it's penicillin mold. No, it's not penicillin mold, it's Aspergillus. And Aspergillus mold makes a toxin called aflatoxin, which causes liver cancer. Let's get all the bears in the world, the polar bears, the grizzly bears, the Kodiak bears, the black bears, the brown bears. Let's get them all on dog food instead of old bread and fish. Let's see what happens. Well, in 6 months' time, all the liver cancer and all the bears in the world stopped. Now, here's the question I have for you, Nasima. Poor people who eat the old bread from the thrift stores, do they have a higher rate of liver cancer than middle-class people and rich people who buy bread cooked in their own house, or maybe newly baked bread in the store and it's not moldy? Do rich people have a lower liver cancer rate than poor people who are getting the old moldy bread from a thrift store? I guarantee you that that's the fact.
Well, it's gluten alert, gluten alert, gluten alert. Whether you get the gluten from the dollar store or a day-old bread shop or made in the bakery made of gold.
No gluten and no moldy bread because of
right.
aflatoxin. And take your 90. I mean, you can collect enough cans and bottles over one weekend to pay for a month's supply of the Healthy Start Pack or the Ultimate Daily Classic or something like that. And so there's no reason you could even eat a high quality dog food, which has all 90 essential nutrients in it. You get the canned dog food if you want to make a hamburger out of it. There's no oats in it. We're not stupid enough to give dogs oats.
Yep, and the alfalfa pellets, Doc.
Yeah, well, that's where I learned that.
Right,
yeah, I learned
right.
that. Yeah. Okay.
So join Dr. Wallach's crusade and army by wanting to be a distributor, should you decide to do that. Potential to make money and pay for your own supplements. Contact us via askdoclive.com or call our phone team. Listen to the recording, subscribe on Ask Doc Live. And as always, Doc, thank you so much for everything.
God bless you, Nasima. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, John
Rebecca.
T. Thank you, team.
Yep, thank you, team. Rebecca, John T, Ruth, Ellen. Happy weekend, everybody, and thanks for joining. And do invite others to join our call. We want to make this a massive, well-attended call and exceed 1,000 people. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
I
Bye-bye.
just want to thank my co-hosts for an amazing job in covering my back. And that just proves that even with technical difficulties, you can run a successful home business with us.
God bless. Thank you. Thank you,
everybody.
Rebecca.
God bless. And we will see you next Friday, same time with Ask Doc Live. Have a great week, everybody.